Hello everyone, my name is Chirant Amarasinghe. I am a civil and a human rights activist. Today I have with me a special guest and we want to talk about a special subject. So I want to introduce to you ex-Colonel Ahmed Fayaz of the Maldivian National Defense Force, who is the current deputy leader of the Maldivian revolutionary movement, and is also now a campaigner in the India Out movement in Maldives, and is also working with the People's Progressive Party in Maldives. So Mr. Fayaz, you have come to Sri Lanka, and what is why did you come to Colombo? What is the purpose of your visit to Colombo? I mean, what is this controversial topic that we don't know and you want to tell?
First of all, let me thank you for having me in your program. And secondly, my visit to Sri Lanka is to make aware of the local politician as well as the international community about the Maldivian present situation of political activity which is happening. Especially my visit has opened a lot of areas which we can cooperate with the Sri Lankan politician as well as the international diplomat and other agencies. That right now the main opposition party, PPM, leader of PPM is framed and jailed. And because our election is going to be held on 9th September, and because till 7th October, it's already open from 23rd July to 7th October, the submission of the candidacy. So the government is framing Yamin and not letting him to run his case, his appeal case in the High Court. And also he has submitted a case in Supreme Court as well, saying that due to the slow progress of the High Court, that his rights have been violated. So like we said, the delaying justice is,
justice delayed is justice denied.
Justice denied, exactly. So my visit, I've met a lot of politicians, opposition as well as international politicians, and I think my visit is very fruitful, and I got very positive feedback from them on this subject.
So let me ask you this question. You came to Colombo and you are talking about an individual. Who is this individual?
First of all, my main purpose is to relate the problem which our present government is doing, especially democracy is destroyed now
in the Maldives.
In Maldives, and especially my concern is that especially the president's father-in-law is residing in Sri Lanka for a very long time.
But the current president of Maldives.
President, yes, Sikka Ibrahim Ismail, because he is a terrorist.
He is a terrorist.
He is a terrorist. If you go back to history, November 3rd, 88.
Okay.
He led a LTT wing of plot.
Okay.
Uma Maheshwaran. He financed them. He planned them. He led them to Maldives, and he killed 19 innocent civilian plus MNDF soldiers. Okay. And this terrorist is residing in Sri Lanka. And Sri Lankan constitution clearly says anyone affiliated with any terrorist organization or activities cannot be stayed in Sri Lanka or granted visa or anything. So this is a serious issue, and he is staying close to Parliament.
He is residing close to the Parliament of Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
And still we don't know. He is a convicted terrorist in Maldives.
Exactly, he has been sentenced to life, but somehow the government has pardoned or released him.
So it's like, the
still he is a terrorist.
Corruption of the system there.
Yes.
And he is out.
Yes.
So he is now residing in Colombo.
Colombo for a very long time. This has never
in Jayawardhanapur, if he is close to the Parliament.
Exactly.
So who is this man's name? Can you say it again?
We call Sikka Ahmed Ismail.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a son-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah. His son-in-law is the present president, Solih. And
So,
this is a very serious concern.
yeah, and also can you explain to me in context now, isn't this a threat to our national security of this country, of Sri Lanka?
Exactly, exactly. Now,
Financing he may be having, the financial sources he might be getting this money, or whatever it is. If he is a convicted terrorist, I mean what
Sri Lankan
I mean, how did he end up in Sri Lanka? How did he cross the the immigration, and how did he come into the country?
Yeah.
I mean, being a convicted terrorist, I mean, what are the mechanisms? Why didn't it initiate and prevent him from entering?
we should do a thorough investigation. After that, we can see where the lapses are there, and for a very long time why he could be able to live under the radar of this thing. And I have already raised this question with the Sri Lankan politician, and they are so shocked knowing
Because
this
the current
guy
government, this Ranil Wickremesinghe government, or
the opposition
and opposition and
Yes.
the current government. So they whatever, they are shocked.
they're shocked. They don't know this guy is living just under nose of parliament.
So I mean, we are talking about whether the people struggle here. We are talking about, I mean, foreigners who
Yeah.
have come to Sri Lanka and have protested, and how their visas revoked and
Exactly.
asked to be deported, and so many things are happening. I mean, we are talking about a real convicted terrorist
Exactly.
living in Sri Lankan soil, and the politicians are not even aware that, I mean, what is the intelligence? I don't know, I mean, to say, but I mean, this is a very serious concern to me as a citizen, as a Sri Lankan, you as a Maldivian,
Yes.
and to the friendships of our country. If something goes wrong, I mean, we are, sometimes we might, it might be a part of another political plan to accuse the
Exactly.
Maldives of, say a race or religion, and so on and so on, and market the name, and it's a danger. I mean, so explain to me his role in this armed coup against democracy. This Ismail, his role in this armed coup against democracy in the Maldives in 1988, as I remember.
88, November 3rd, yes.
November 3rd. Okay, so what happened then? What is his involvement there?
No, he was the main engineer.
Okay.
He was the main guy who financed with the Indian, with India, with Indian help, definitely, because they left from where a port which is controlled by India.
Okay.
During 87, India came as IPKF project,
Okay.
and they have been looking after north and east.
Okay.
And these mercenaries, terrorists left from these ports. And
So the ports that are
how
under
can
control-
we believe that India does not?
I mean, the ports controlled in
By India, Navy.
Indian Navy.
Yeah, the IPKF control this navy, this area. And the other thing is, see, when they have been chased out from Maldives, when they have hostage one of our merchant ship, so they were heading back to Sri Lanka. But the terrorists asked to communicate, they are Sri Lankan, but they requested to communicate Indian ambassador. Why not Sri Lankan government? Why Indian ambassador? So this is how it's totally an Indian related issue. It's there on the paper.
So basically, you are saying, according to you, this is the facts are that the Indian government,
Yeah.
the Indian influence.
The facts are there. There was a hostage, our then tourism minister.
Okay.
In his biography, he has written it.
Oh, yes.
So it's a solid evidence. He said these terrorists were asking to communicate, negotiate with the Indian ambassador, not the Sri Lankan government. So why?
So yeah. So Sri Lanka being so close to the Maldives also.
Yes.
And so anyway, we now, I think the Maldivian embassy is also in Sri Lanka, right?
Yes.
So here now, what is the connection between the current incumbent president of this Ismail and the incumbent president? It is
Yeah, now Solih has become a puppet of this Sikh Ahmed Ismail, because he doesn't have
so
any
he's
option.
like a mastermind.
Yeah, he's playing the game.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever he say, he have to do. His son-in-law have to do, and this is destroying the democracy, which after long time we have tried to gain. From 2008, a lot of people went jail. A lot of people dropped blood, sweat to get this democracy, and now this guy is destroying it. You know,
a convicted terrorist of
exactly, and now he's signing. You know, I mean, we don't know what he's doing. You know, so it's a national security threat now. It become
to your country and as well as ours. So this is the problem. I mean, this is not about, you know, the Maldives and, you know, your democracy.
yes.
I mean, if we have a terrorist, convicted terrorist in our soil, why hasn't our, I mean, systems that are in place to prevent such people from coming in not been, I mean, is he on a diplomatic visa or something like that?
Yes, he is having a diplomatic passport issued. This is an alarming thing, and did by this government. Present Maldivian government did it. So this is a very serious violation of Geneva Convention on Diplomats.
Exactly. Is he on a, I mean, is he on diplomatic immunity? Does
right now, yes.
He has diplomatic immunity.
Yes, because he has a diplomatic passport. He is driving a diplomatic DPL car. Number plate is there.
Oh.
And this is clear violation of Geneva Convention.
So
this is a serious
this is a very serious offense.
Yes.
I mean, accusation.
Nobody can deny it. I challenge it.
Because he is using his the diplomatic system,
yes.
the diplomatic immunity,
yes.
to safeguard himself as a convicted terrorist.
Exactly.
And not only that, he is, I mean, puppeting,
yes.
and destroying the democracy in the Maldives.
Yes.
I mean, there's a say, injustice somewhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Exactly, exactly. Very right.
Fascism somewhere is a threat to democracy everywhere.
Exactly. Very right.
So, I mean, in this context, so I wish to ask you, what do you think the Sri Lankan government should do about this? I mean, how should they, I mean, how should they approach this? Should they go in and arrest him, or what is your opinion? I mean, should they complain to UN or get this matter sorted out, or this diplomatic immunity matter?
It's very simple. Sri Lankan government have to open an investigation.
Yes.
And if what we are saying is true,
yes.
then he can be, you know, his diplomatic acceptance can be revoked.
Revoked.
Yeah.
I think
and he can be sent back.
The Commissioner of Immigration, he has the power to do so.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I mean, from things I have heard, the decision of the immigration controller is very above. I mean, it's a very supreme.
Yes.
I mean, it's not above the Supreme Court, as to say it, but it's a very stern. He has such stern power to get anybody out of the country.
Exactly.
To get anybody out of the country.
And we are not talking about anybody.
Has he taken refugee status here?
No.
He has not taken refugee status.
How can a refugee status guy get a diplomatic passport?
So this is the thing. I mean, the Indian influence you're talking about is concerning to us Sri Lankans, because we are aware of the Easter Sunday attacks. We are aware of how the Indian, the Indian intelligence was giving information, but it was, it was clear that certain things were planned, and certain detonators that were used were from India, and the Vanathavillu explosive discovery, that there was involvement of Indian explosives. I mean the agenda behind, the extremist organizations that are currently active in this country, who have actually fostered the background of, fostered Zaharan to be who he is. Persons, I'm not afraid to say BBS. They have been, said to be connected with India, and and then Zaharan gets explosives from India.
Exactly.
The agenda of the explosions on the Easter Sunday, Kochikade, the St. Anthony's Church shrine, Kochikade, the bombs, they went off during the Tamil Mass.
Yes.
And when they had so many other locations, they chose the Batiklo, Zion Church in Batiklo.
Yes.
So I mean, there is a clear indication of, you know, Indian agenda there, and the inaction of the Sri Lankan officers to, I mean, avoid and not take action with regard to such of things. It's astounding. I mean, I feel there is a connection between this system where there is Akhand Bharat.
Yeah, the Akhand Bharat is a philosophy of RSS.
Yes.
Yeah. RSS.
Who is the mother organization of the current incumbent
BJP? Exactly. Exactly.
Narendra Modi.
Yeah. Because Akhand Bharat was formed. RSS was formed in 1929.
Okay.
Soon after the Nazi Party.
Okay.
So this Akhand Bharat itself is, they want to have a
one India.
One India.
And in Sri Lanka is
India.
also
Sri Lanka, Maldives, up to Malaysia, Indonesia, they all come under what we call Akhand Bharat.
That's one India.
But that failed during 47 when Britishers gave independence and divide India.
Yeah.
Pakistan, East Pakistan and West Pakistan. So that thing went out. Now they are having a different approach. You know, they want to radicalize. They want to bring their ideology into the different countries that we so-called Akhand Bharat, and try to, you know, manipulate people to accept what they want us do. You know, so same as you mentioned about the Easter bombing. The same thing was there in Maldives last year.
okay.
Two Indian intelligence guy wants to blow up a Sri Lankan airline.
Oh.
Yeah, they
I
were
was not
caught.
aware.
They were caught on the boarding gate last minute, because there was a US intelligence guy. He was on holiday. He noticed these two was not behaving normally, and he alerted. He followed him almost half an hour. Then he alerted the security. Then security get hold of these guys. They brought the luggage and checked. Explosive, detonator, primer, everything was there. You know, and Sri Lanka requested to hand over this guy to Sri Lanka for further investigation. But it was never done.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Two guys.
Two guys. They have been sent back to India, saying a false narrative that they have been following a girl of a businessman, and what the hell is doing with the explosive? Huh? So
this is very serious revelation that you are making, and are you implying? I mean, we feel it here in Sri Lanka that Indian government is, you know, actively disrupting the political structure of this country, trying to push Sri Lanka into instability and fascism, so that they can have an advantage over, the ruling party, and then, you know, get control of the country. I mean, there's a feeling like that in the Sri Lankan communities. Might not be the whole community, but as people who, I mean, I'm a person who analyzes this geopolitical situation.
Yeah.
I feel that they are trying to do it. Is that same thing? Do you have the same feeling with regard to Maldives, that they are trying to push?
Exactly. Now, see, this is not only subject to Sri Lanka. It's a whole this region. Now, see what is happening in Bangladesh. Now, see what is happening in Sri Lanka, and in Maldives, it's even worse.
I mean,
even worse.
I'm just going to interrupt you, because during the struggle, during the violent phase of the struggle, I remember, especially with regard to the parliament, they tried to take over the strugglers for certain persons who said they were strugglers, but the strugglers were actually peaceful protesters. They didn't want to take over buildings or burn down buildings, and there was an entity which tried to take over the parliament. And then I was approached by the Indian media. I'm not the local media, and they were like, "Oh, today they are going to do something at the parliament. Is this true?" And I said, "I don't know." I mean, they were, aware, and they were like actively pushing us go to parliament.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, was this struggle made violent? I mean, possibly the involvement of India is there with the struggle.
Exactly. Now, see, last year there was a assassination attempt to speak of the parliament.
Okay.
How did the TV guys know this event is going to happen? Why they have been sitting the target area, next to a target area in a restaurant. How they knows? Who gave the information? This is not a coincidence. A TV crew is sitting next to the incident area, and within a second they were there covering the whole thing. And the assassination happened. The explosive which has been used is definitely provided by either our defense minister or through defense or Indian. That's it.
Yeah.
So this is clear sign that India is doing everything. Now see, our election is
Coming up.
9 September.
September.
Now recently, the Indian RAW chief Ravi Sinha came, and he is meeting individual like defense minister, chief of defense force, commissioner of police, and all these guys, attorney general. He is just making them, creating a fear factor that terrorism is going to happen, this may go happen, this may. So he is requesting to amend laws.
I mean, we are talking about a convicted terrorist of that.
Yeah, because he is sitting here and
relative of him.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, what is the basis of finding? I mean, I also, Mr. Fayaz, I want to know, Colonel, ex-Colonel. So, what do you think of the Indian now? We are seeing the Indian rupee. I mean, there's a talk about it that the Indian rupee will be allowed for transactions in Sri Lanka. I mean, wouldn't that cause, the confidence of the Sri Lankan people to drift away from the Sri Lankan rupee? I mean, I'm not to say that the Indian rupee is such a good performing currency in the context. I mean, wouldn't that affect the confidence in the Sri Lankan local currency?
Exactly. It will have a negative impact on the economy as well, because this is another area of that Akhand Bharat.
To destabilize the country.
Exactly. No, economically
crippling
and
the independence of the economy.
Them depend on India. So when the Sri Lankan rupee value is gone, ultimately will go when Indian rupees start floating in the system. Then Sri Lankan rupee will fall. So then the whole nation will be depend on Indian rupees. So see, Akhand Bharat physically they are not occupying.
I mean,
but systematically they are
improvising everything. They are occupying. I mean, where currency is concerned, it is their currency. They control.
Now they dictate what to do and what not to do. We have to do. There is no choice.
I mean, they will control how the currency can be used also. I think they can have some kind of and projects. Now we talk about projects to get power from India to link up with India. I mean, we are also having instances where the Indian investors, so people like Adani, are going to invest in or said to invest or have invested. I don't know the current exact situation, but Adani is going to invest in solar power or something. Everything is being said. So, what are these investments coming in? Why are they? Have they prospered in Sri Lanka? I mean, I haven't seen still the building. I mean, we should be seeing it on the news. They're bringing in solar panels, installing, starting up this project. Has that happened? Have you noticed?
I can come up with our perspective. This present government, they said India says, not even them, they never say anything. Indian ambassador said they have given $3 billion of projects which is running in Maldives. But you ask any Maldivian,
what are the projects?
Have they seen any project?
Yeah,
they are saying in north they are developing airport, in south they are developing airport, in center they are developing a coast guard base, and there is a bridge. What the hell? After 2 years, it has never come up.
So
not a single thing is happening.
If the project doesn't happen and it's a loan or whatever that we are getting,
it's a debt trap. Because according to agreement, whether the project is done or not, we have to start paying the loan.
So basically, it's like something like the Chinese. I mean, the Chinese at least give the project.
Yeah, they done it on time. Now see, previous government, Yamin's government, within 5 years, that was the time in our history that the development came within short time. 5 years is very short. He built a bridge, he built a brand new second runway, brand new terminal, seaplane terminal, one of the world's biggest seaplane terminal, one of the best VIP and CIP terminal, and a big fuel farm, you name it, anything within this time. And 240 hectare land he's reclaimed, he revetment it, he put roads, storage, water, electricity, and built almost 12,000 housing units within 5 years, and a hospital. And Asia's #1 hospital infrastructure. The award was got in 5 years. But see, this current government, after spending 3 billion, nobody has seen anything is happening. So it's a debt trap. India has putting Maldives in a debt trap.
So, Mr. Fayaz, I won't take your time. Cut this short. What are the politicians have you? The Sri Lankan politicians. Who are these politicians you have? Are you able to name them? Is it your discretion? I mean, from the opposition, from the government, you said that you have met them.
I think for time being, I'll keep it low. Yeah. But in soon on media and everything, I'll get a detail.
We can see whether these politicians do their responsibility towards the country.
Exactly. No,
we are not talking about some smuggler or some criminal. I mean, we are talking about a terrorist living in this country. So, I mean, in a diplomatic, I mean, this needs to go to the UN. The UN has to, ask the Maldivian government why is he having a diplomatic immunity here. And I mean, I think a huge process needs to happen. So I want to ask you also, the Sikhs funding to Tamil diaspora, what is this matter? I mean, what is the context of that?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Not to take your time, I mean, we need to cut this short.
No, see, there's two questions. One is that is he financing the Tamil diaspora? Definitely, if you do a thorough investigation, there will be so much of facts. Now, see, during 2010, there was a project handover our airport to GMR. Now, who is the guy who came to as a financial controller, who is sitting in Singapore? And now you check who is linked with LTT. Okay. He was second LTT guy to Prabhakaran. Okay. Yeah. When Prabhakaran got killed, he changed his face and he ran away to Singapore. And he came. Okay. He was there in Maldives. Okay. This is the first part. Second part is, now see, Maldives and Sri Lanka, we are brothers. Yeah. Though we may be 100% Muslim now, but our forefathers are Sri Lankan. Okay. Buddhist. Now you cut our hand, the blood is Buddhist. Sri Lankan, during Ashoka time, they all the way went from Sri Lanka to Maldives. Yeah. So that feeling is still there. And the politicians which I met, they definitely assure us they will do whatever they can, and they are very much eager to work with us and to do anything for Maldives. So in time, definitely we'll see that thing.
Just a final question to you. Do you think the people's struggle that happened in this country with regard to, as a struggler yourself, yes, do you feel that this people's struggle that happened in 2022 is a diaspora conspiracy? Do you think it is something like that, or is it the actual people of Sri Lanka who rose up against this dictatorship president?
That thing is when people get so frustrated, when the whole system collapses, when the system cannot look after the public, it comes. And with that, the Indian external factor is there. They played their game. Now I've heard that they are trying to pressure in Sri Lanka to amend 13th Amendment, to merge North and East. So this is a very serious thing. Now they are doing the same thing in Maldives. They are asking us to change our constitution, that right now only a Muslim can be president. He should have mother and father should be a Maldivian born and raised. Okay. So India is pressuring us to change this. Okay. Because then they can do what they have done in Seychelles and Mauritius, put their agent there. So that's it. And
so, thanks for your feedback, because there's a lot of speculation that the struggle was diaspora, and it's I never felt that it was diaspora, though they may have been part of it, but it was not the source of that issue. The source of the issue was this president who was a stupid idiot who ruined the whole system. So thank you, Mr. Colonel Fayaz, for coming and sharing your views. I hope the listeners of this, the viewers of this, could understand that Sri Lanka and Maldives, we are brothers in this Asian region, and as countries, our democracy must be upheld. India, who is talking about implementation of the 13th Amendment and all these things, have they voiced a single word to the incumbent President Ranil Wickremesinghe, or we call him Ranil Rajapaksa, to ensure human rights, ensure law and order, ensure the right of freedom of protest and all that? Have they pressured this president? I don't think they have. They will talk about the 13th Amendment because it is their agenda. The rights of these people, the democratic values of this country, it's not theirs. So it's time the people of this country realize what India is doing and take note and act accordingly. We can say, but you can listen, but those who listen must listen with some knowledge, intellect. So it is your decision, your country, Sri Lanka, Maldives, you're a Maldivian, but as a Sri Lankan, it is our countries. So, but still, the decision is to be informed and act accordingly, and the responsible politicians have to be active in this matter. So, thank you, Mr. Fayaz.
Thank you very much for having me, giving me some time in your program.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Right, thank you.